Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Jane, this is my channel, International Tarot. I wanted to do a quick message regarding private readings if you're interested, okay? I just put up a temporary booking page. I'm still building out my site, but it's only going to be available till June 14th, and then I'm going to be turning it off again because I have a visitor coming here to visit me in Bali, and I won't be able to be doing privates. And then again in July for only a couple weeks. Likely I'm going to be moving to Europe after the middle of July or into early August. So it's going to be kind of sporadic, and I apologize for that, but I just got to work around my schedule a little bit. So thank you so much again, and enjoy your reading. Hello Libra, how are you? Welcome to your June 2017 love reading. Let's go ahead and dive right in. I've already prepared the deck for you. Okay. Artisan of Coins and the Four of Wands. Libra, coming out as the Artisan of Coins, you, right? This is your energy. This is like the Knight of Coins or the Knight of Pentacles, okay? There seems to be a sense of duty and a sense of giving as well. But I'm feeling like you're giving and the things that you are doing is not necessarily proving fruitful or not necessarily providing the stability that I think you want or you need. Okay, that's crossing you. Sometimes we do the things that we think we're supposed to do, and it doesn't pan out the way that we think it's going to pan out, right? And sometimes these actions, and I don't know what that is, right? Some of you may be communicating, some of you may not be communicating, some of you may be doing things or, you know, expressing yourself in some way, and some of you may not be expressing some way. I think you may be having a little bit actually of a lack of balance within you and what you think you should do versus what you want to do, and so you're kind of like in this very indecisive position. You don't know what to do, and the things you do, maybe you're second guessing yourself, and you're kind of like, well, like I don't know what to do in order to get this Four of Wands, in order to find stability, in order to find a commitment, or to get married, or whatever. I don't know what to do. I'm doing everything that everyone always said I was supposed to do, and nothing. Okay. Judgment. These go so well hand in hand. It's so bizarre. And Justice is your card, Libra. Justice is the card of the scales and of balance. Justice is like just about things being fair. It's about things becoming equal, and the universe's part in things being equal. I think you are maybe over trying to keep things balanced. You're over trying to, like, there's an essence of trying too hard. You may have had some kind of an epiphany recently that was like, you know what, if I don't say this, if I don't do this, then I'm never gonna know, or then I'm never gonna get what I want, or I'm never gonna know that I'll never get what I want. You know, different stories for all of you. And you're coming from a place, I believe, of trying to get answers and trying to understand where someone else is coming from and trying to understand what the outcome is going to be. I'm not seeing the energy of another person here yet. And I know you want to be fair to that other person as well. Like, I don't think that you want to over project, or like you don't want this person to do something just because you want them to. You want them to do it because they want to, like they want to have a relationship or they want to get married, right? But you also don't want to sacrifice your own desires and needs by not saying anything. So you're really walking this really fine line with that underlaying or that underlayer of, you know what, if I want something to change, I'm going to have to make it change, or I'm going to have to bring it to the surface. This other person has to know, or I need to express this in order for anything to change. 10 of Wands. Card of work. I see this as a card of work. But, I think you may have put yourself in a little bit of a precarious situation, but again, it's all for the greater good. It's all for you getting what you want. And hopefully that other person wants it too. Now, it's likely that, again, I'm not getting their energy yet, but 10 of Wands does speak in terms of an individual. Or like even two people working for the same goal. So you need to make sure that this other person is totally on board. But I'm really, I'm sorry, I'm really just sensing it more as you, right? Like you're not gonna bear the load. You're not going to accept that burden unless you know that it's going to be worth it. But it's definitely a fight that you're willing to fight, right? You're willing to make your way through the hurdles. You're willing to bend and accommodate as needed, as long as it doesn't sacrifice your own standards and morals. That kind of seems to be a little bit of a theme for the past few signs I've been reading for. Not sacrificing our own desires, okay? And maybe for some of you, it's like, it's time. It's only fair for me to have the relationship that I want. And some of you may be deciding to leave someone, okay, because you're not having your needs met. Some of you may be trying to manifest. These are also cards of manifestation as well. You may be trying to manifest a relationship with someone specific. Be careful how you manifest, because, and again, I've said this, so if you've watched other signs, it's likely that you'll hear this multiple times. But be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. You just might get a relationship with that person, or you just might get that commitment, or that marriage, or those babies, you know what I mean? And not to say that those all wouldn't be good things, but for some of you they're good, for some of you they're bad. If you're in love with an emotionally unattainable person, then that might be bad and cause stress in the future. So like, just be cognizant of what it is you're putting out there into the universe. 9 of Coins. Very ready to, I want to say, like, throw aside your individuality and open it up. Okay, a lot of you are very ready for relationships, or you're ready to take your relationship to the next level. And it is that readiness that could be threatening to other signs, okay, or other people. That readiness and hoping that they are also on the same page. There does seem to be this message of standing up for yourself. I'm getting that with the Justice, right? It's almost as though you're getting justice for yourself, because any investment that you've put in, and you have invested, right? And these are coins. Coins are actual measurable efforts. You have put in measurable efforts. So if you're not seeing the results, now is the time to make change. 8 of Cups. In the reversal, it's always difficult to leave a situation when you love someone, and I'm not saying that any of you are getting divorced, or any of you are, going through painful, obviously, like maybe 50-50, some in relationships, some going through breakups, some trying to get with someone, whatever. But there's like I'm sensing like loneliness with this 8 of Cups. Even if you're with someone, there is this loneliness, as though you're the only one fighting. You're the only one that wants what's best. You're the only one that sees the big picture. And I feel like you're hanging on to that big picture because you're hoping, I don't know if it's hope so much as you're waiting, maybe you're waiting for the other person to see that big picture too, or to see what it could be. Be careful with that. Be careful with what it could be. Be careful with the potential. Because it's not the reflection of reality. Potential is merely a facade. It's merely an illusion. It does not exist yet. And yes, while there may be potential, hands down, if your reality is not reflecting what it is you're trying to manifest, then you really got to be aware of that, and aware that maybe the reality is just the reality. And Libra, you do tend to be the more idealistic of the zodiac, right? One of the more idealistic signs. I think air signs tend to lean that way, where everyone can have everything and everyone can be happy, and there are win-win situations. And you don't like hurting other people, right? You don't like confrontation, and you don't like being hurt. So you're trying to find that balance. And I think there's an element of benefit of the doubt. Like you're trying to give someone the benefit of a doubt. Ten of Swords reversed. With this particular deck, I see, because it is kind of the fallen angel card is what I call it. I don't know what this particular piece of art is exactly, but you have the angel that is fallen, and then you have the helpers there. I don't know who they are. Maybe other angels trying to help. I'm seeing it here as being a little bit of a reliance on others. Like maybe you're relying on someone to pick you up. This may have come in the form of disappointment, right? This Four of Wands in the challenge position, getting what you feel that you deserve. Some of you may have taken action, okay, judgment. You may have taken action, or you may have said something or done something, like I said before, to try to manifest this desired outcome. And some of you may feel like you're not getting it, right? Kind of putting you in a very dark place, a very sad place. Not all of you, but some of you. And you may be kind of just lingering or hovering there. Like there's a couple cards here talking about unwilling to see past the current state, okay? Like you're hanging on to the potential, not really acknowledging reality, but being sad about the reality, which is kind of like the potential is the light at the end of the tunnel for you. But again, that light at the end of the tunnel is a little bit of a facade. It's a mirage. It's not real. Too much of a benefit of a doubt, I think. Really, really ask yourself how much of an investment this other person has put in. How much of an investment have you put in versus what they've done? How much have you put on the line versus what they've put on the line? I see you being so ready, so just like right at the forefront, in the trenches, ready to charge forward, ready to do whatever it takes, but you're only gonna do that if they're on board. And it's like, well, I don't know if they're on board. A death. Some of you may be really, really hopeful that this vibe, this energy, this lingering presence will finally disappear because it's what's right. Maybe some of you had a disappointing love situation, something didn't work out, and you're hoping for freedom. You're hoping to break away from this Ten of Swords and embrace the Ace of Swords, right? We have 10 and 10. And both of these tens, what's next comes the one. And a lot of you are really hoping for a breath of fresh air, a new opportunity. And for those of you in relationships, okay, and you're not breaking up or whatever, you're really just hoping to wipe the slate clean and to forget, and to really forget, and to really not worry about it anymore, and to really not stress over it. Because it's what's fair. It's what's fair to you. Okay, so some of you are really hoping for that clean slate and hoping that this disappointment or this situation does not haunt you anymore. Others of you, okay, are maybe, so that's kind of like the hopeful side. Others of you are afraid of losing that. You're afraid of losing that possibility. So it can really go both ways depending on really where you are at that end of the spectrum, because the past couple months it's been a lot about decision making and deciding what serves you and what doesn't. Well, now you're kind of at this place of you can't linger forever. You got to do something, but it's not really a decision that needs to be made. It's more of a clarity of mind and really cleansing the negativity from your life. Hoping for it to change and being fearful for it to change. Some of you fearful that you'll never get that chance, fearful that you'll never have that opportunity. And the outcome is the 9 of Swords. So it's tough. You do have a lot of mental activity, but you know what? This really speaks to a lot of mental maturity and really understanding that life is, this is so dumb, but it's like life is real. Life is real, and realistically, like Libra, I think you're gonna have to set down your rose-colored glasses this month, okay, and really be super, super, super honest, because honesty is the only way that you're gonna get a fair judgment. Okay, it's the only way that fairness is going to come into play, because what's fair is for you to have a relationship with someone that really loves, cares, and respects you. What's fair is for you to give your love to someone that appreciates it. What's fair is that this issue that you're dealing with is 4 of Wands, okay, this not feeling stable, this not feeling secure. What's fair is that that's not there, right? You know, and sometimes it's that honesty with yourself, and I think you're really struggling with, it's like, you know, I know that you know, but you're hanging on anyway. There's a clinging effect, okay? I feel like this may be similar from the last month. I don't really remember last month's or the general, really. It could be a continuation. You know, that's kind of the problem, I think, with doing these readings twice a month, is it's just maybe not enough time for things to really change, but we'll go with it. Devotee of Swords, like the Page of Swords, okay? But again, I read this deck differently. This is a card of training. I think that you've been in training. I think that you've been in, like, you're training for this battle here. 10 of Wands. I forget which battle this is. It's like the Spartans versus the Romans or something like that, or like 300 of them versus 10,000 of them, you know, kind of thing. I think that's what that movie 300 was about. I don't know, but you know, being prepared for that battle. This is training, it's education, it's refining skills. And some of you may also be watching. I'm sensing a lot of like watchfulness here, and maybe even lurking. Maybe you're spying on social media, paying attention to their Instagram. Maybe you're kind of like seeing what they're doing so that you can make adjustments so that you might seem more attractive or to gain attention or whatever. But there does seem to be an element of voyeurism, maybe them to you as well, I don't know. But, you know, maybe even a little bit of voyeurism on yourself and really analyzing your own actions and your own choices to act in a certain way, for what reason and for what cause. The Devotee of Wands speaks to, I think a secret came out. Again, I do read it differently, so Page of Wands, but with the closure of the gate. Now it's open. I see it as it being open, and with Judgment there was definitely information that had been leaked. There had been information that was dealt, and now it's out. It's out there, and there's nothing you can do about it. And maybe it was a little bit of an enlightening experience for your partner as well. Like maybe they just really didn't know. Six of Cups. See, there's been an investment. Six of Cups really does speak to the past connections. It also speaks to children as well. Some of you may be dealing with children or having children in the middle of something, and maybe you really are trying to work through something so that it is fair for the children, okay? And you're really torn, right? Because again, the reality of the situation doesn't reflect the ideal, and a lot of you may be operating on the hopes that the ideal will come to fruition. Be careful when you have children involved, because you don't want them to get in the middle of this battle, right? You don't want that, not necessarily in the middle, but you don't necessarily want them to be tainted, I guess. You don't want them to be tainted by things that must be done in a battle. Because sometimes you really just got to do what you got to do, right? And you also don't want them to be affected by some of the darker aspects of adulthood. You know, like maybe there's a little bit too much innocence here for them to be exposed at this particular time. So you're really watching, right? Watching, keeping guard, protecting. And for those of you who don't have children, obviously that won't apply. But this is a connection with the past. You're seeking so much to maintain that. And I see this often as the maintenance of contracts and the maintenance of agreements. So even if you've had like a long-standing friend that maybe you've been in love with from afar, again, I'm sensing a farness, and that like something came out and kind of, you turned a corner. You guys turned a corner. And you've been trying to maintain that friendship and keep that friendship in place. And now everything is confusing with the Seven of Cups. And now things don't make sense. And now things have, and you're probably likely going to be in this continued state of confusion for a while, okay? It's really important to really focus on how this emotional upheaval lends itself to your productivity, okay? Because it can steal your productivity. In Libra, you are one of the more imaginative signs in the zodiac, okay? So you do spend a lot of time in your mind and envisioning. You are a very creative sign as well. This is a card I often see of creativity. But your creativity can be hindered if you choose to live in thought, if you choose to live in your imagination, and, you know, as opposed to, like I say, channeling it towards some sort of creative outlet or something that's more productive. So be cognizant of how you're spending your time. If you're one of those, you know, people that likes to just sit and have a cup of coffee and think and think and think, like me, that's how I do. If you're one of those people, maybe observe that and say, you know what, I really need to take this time, this hour that I'm spending doing this, and just like go write my thoughts down, or go, for me, I do tarot, right? So I tend to try to channel my efforts toward my little tarot channel or whatever. So be cognizant of that. We're in this weird cycle. We've had 3 new moons kind of in a row. We've had one a month ago. We have this one in Gemini that was back on the 25th of May. And the one in the middle, the next one is the end of June, and the one in the middle is kind of like a Make-A-Wish new moon, right? Well, they kind of all are, but it's kind of the middle of a 3 new moon cycle. So this confusion is likely to continue for the next month or so. This 9 of Swords, this 10 of Swords, and I'm not trying to bum you out, more so to prepare you, because it's going to be a little bit confusing. You're likely not going to hear the things you need to hear in order to move on. But if you can accept that, and you can just, like, again, channel your your tension and your anxiety a little bit, you'll actually have a good possibility of creating something great out of what you're dealing with emotionally. 5 of Cups, I think there's a regret of doing what you did, regret of saying what you said. Maybe it's the other person. You know what? If you're watching this for Libra, like if you have a love interest that is a Libra, vulnerability would be good here. Like if you don't want to lose them and you love them and you really want to be with them, they really need to hear how you feel, and they really need to know what it is you're thinking and where you're coming from, because they're going a little bit crazy, all right? And they are regretting letting you in on some secret that they've had maybe for a while. And they are maybe even, for maybe not all Libras, but some of them might even be embarrassed a little bit because they're really like psyching themselves out. So just be gentle, be kind. If you're really not interested in them, now would be a really good time to just let them know and not drag them on or not lead them on, because they're hanging on, and it's not healthy and it's not fair. And they were doing something in the hopes that it would be fair to themselves, so the least you can do is to be fair to them. Okay, and for those of you again who love them and want to maintain this relationship, comfort them, you know, let them know that what they did and what they said, and it's okay, and you know, we don't have to figure it out today, but to let them know that you are willing to figure that out. The one torn asunder, right? So Libra, you may be just kind of like, I'm sensing limbo, right? And I don't like it, and I don't like giving you that message, but there is this lingering effect. 8 of Cups, 10 of Swords, 7 of Cups. Now we have the one torn asunder, which is like the Hanged Man. And it's just this suspension. But it is required at times. The universe needs us to have this, like this is in the tarot deck for a reason, right? It's here because you need to, at times, you need to have time for things to kind of fester, have time for everyone to kind of figure out how they feel. Maybe this person, your partner, significant other, whatever, maybe they're just really trying to figure out how they feel about what you said, how they feel about what you brought to the table, because you definitely brought something to the table. And it's probably going to kill you to just sit here and hang tight, but patience more than anything is super, super important. To not pressure anything right now either. 6 of Swords, 9 of Cups, and the 3 of Cups. This speaks to friendliness, and it actually mirrors the superficiality with the 6 of Cups and the youthfulness and like nothing serious, you know. Be very, very careful and very cautious of any gossip or rumors that you hear as well. It's very likely that things may be misinterpreted. You do not have all the information, all right? You need to wait until you hear it from the horse's mouth, all right? So don't freak out about things. Now, the 6 of Swords does speak to moving on. It speaks to transitioning in a less serious sense. It does speak to travel as well, as some of you need a little vacation just to get away. I'm seeing it more short distances, something toward water, because water can be very soothing, especially when you see water and swords, right? There's no cups here, but there is an affiliation with water. Because really, thoughts and emotions are, you know, very interconnected. They're not necessarily two separate things all the time, right? So, you know, there is temptation, I believe, temptation in staying, temptation in festering. I think more than anything, you're afraid of this stagnation, but please don't. Please just relax, okay? And again, you're not the first sign I've said this to. This is a theme for the month. It's important for us all to just relax, okay? We've got Mars entering Cancer. You're going to be very emotionally driven and emotionally charged as it is. All right, we have the Sun in Gemini, which can give us all, you know, a little bit of antsiness and anxiousness. Right now, this week, we have Mars opposing Saturn, which is really slowing everything down. And I've been saying this as well. I'm not an astrologer, but I am learning, because I do feel that it's very difficult for me to like it's just, it is what it is, and it reflects it so well that it's almost impossible, or it doesn't make any sense not to incorporate it in some way. So patience is a virtue here. It's not a hindrance. My recommendation is to not listen, because listening to other people, listening to things through the grapevine, it's going to add to your anxiety. And again, you don't know, right? Pictures that you see on Facebook and Instagram, don't freak out about it. You don't have all the information, okay? You don't want to make any rash decisions or any do anything hasty or hastily. I don't think I ever got better than a C in my English class. Okay, the Empress. I love the Empress for you, Libra, okay? I love the Empress because it is your card. I'm a little concerned that it is in the reversal, okay? I'm a little concerned that it's, you're not feeling very strong, right? Which means that you really gave up a lot of your strength here with this Devotee of Wands and this Judgment. You really put the power in the other seat, right? Two of Cups. Whatever happened did drive a wedge between the two of you. It did affect the relationship. Now, some of you for the better, some of you for the worse. I don't know. I'm trying to think, because whenever the Two of Cups still comes out, even though it might be reversed, there is still the fundamental core of love. But now there needs to be a reestablishment of trust, a reestablishment of that connection, which can be difficult. This chapter is not over. We're getting the World. In this deck, it's the Garden, the World in the reversal. This chapter is not over. This story is not complete. Like I was saying, you really need to just wait a few weeks, a month and a half before you know. Like I'm saying, you're probably at about 70% to the end of this particular story. And it's probably a story that has been playing out for maybe a year, or for some of you even more than that. So it hasn't been fully written yet, okay? You haven't reached the finish point. And Two of Swords in the reversal, it's time for you to acknowledge the truth, like I was saying in the beginning. I think there's a lot of you that might be in a little bit of denial, and you're not trusting your gut. You're not trusting that intuition of yours. And Libra, you are in fact the Empress of, or not the Empress, well yeah, you are the Empress, but the Queen of Swords, that's your card. And she is very intuitive, but she does sometimes work harder than she needs to, okay? And sometimes when we fight our intuition and we question ourselves, we are kind of working against ourselves and making our lives a little bit harder. And it is something that, you know, we do to ourselves, not just Libra, but like everybody, right? There's no need for that when your inner voice is always speaking to you. And here we have the Sun. First of all, I know you want peace, and I know you want rest, and I know you want just good things. You want everything to work out okay. This is your idealism, right? You want everything that you want. We all want everything that we want. And the Enchantress of Wands. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign, okay? They're really questioning, you know, things. This is a very still, right? I mean, she's just kind of standing still, and she's the card of Aries, okay? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but could be anyone else. She is very independent, right? She speaks when she needs to speak. She is very confident and very sure of herself as well. There may be something of consideration going on here, right? And maybe they have been thrown, Two of Cups, Empress, Two of Swords. They kind of have all the power right now. You kind of put the whole everything in their court, and now they're kind of left making a decision, or left to kind of lead, or, you know, in a way that probably they didn't really want to, or that they weren't expecting, and they're even kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't think that they want to completely lose you, because there is this recognition of the Two of Cups, and they know that. That is a foundation for both of you. I'm wondering of the depth of some of your relationships as well. Some of you may have been dealing with a friends with benefit situation, something that was a little bit surface level, but maybe you felt it deeper than they did. I like the pairing though. The Queen of Wands and the Empress, I think, is a beautiful match. The Nine of Wands, the Enchantress of Cups, and the Seven of Coins. Nine of Wands, again, the environment. So again, for both of you, again, you've kind of brick walled each other. There's going to be a little bit of a screeching halt on progress. What's weird is I think that all of this was the intention to progress, the intention of taking it to that next realm. But it's like almost as soon as it was out there, you were like, oh, like Control Z, undo, undo, undo. I didn't mean to do that. I shouldn't have done it, you know, and that's what the Five of Cups is about, like the regret of doing it. You were doing it for the sake of getting what you wanted, but then you put it out there and you were like, oh, I shouldn't have done it, you know. And now you're both kind of on guard, and I think your emotions are really thick. Your emotions are really thick, and I think you're even trying to put off a facade of control, you know, pretending in some way that it's not affecting you. But you know what? They're not stupid. They're very intuitive as well, and they are very empathetic as well, and you're not fooling anyone. This really could be a little bit of a twin flame situation going on here, Libra, with the Queen of Cups, which I love. Queen of Cups. Okay. A depth and a severity. Even like if I hold it up like this, you have a lot of, you know, intention toward this person, and yet this person is, you know, kind of leaning into you, but not really. Like they're very aloof, making you probably go even a little bit crazier. Not calling you crazy, but like we all go crazy. Like you're driving me crazy. That's what I mean. Again, a little bit of a twin flame situation here, I think, fire and water. Like you definitely challenge one another. You definitely affect one another. There are warm feelings between the two of you. There is love for some of you. This person is really left to consider, though. Do they want that Four of Wands? Do they want that, or do they want to maintain their independence? In the meantime, they're going to be very guarded. You are going to be very guarded. But right now, I think, too, your mouth is like zipped. Like the ball's in their court, and now you're just waiting for them to respond. Seven of Coins. They may very well be reconsidering the satisfaction that they have with their own life, and really asking themselves, and maybe questioning their own like higher self, and being like, is this all there is? Inward focus for them, okay? Inward introspection for them. And like I said, I don't think this story is answerable right now, which can be very frustrating for you guys. The only advice that I can give you based on this reading is to just not do anything, okay? To lean into the natural hiatus that the universe has kind of put you in. It's kind of forcing you to slow it down. It's forcing you to second guess yourself. it's a healthy level of second guessing right now. Okay, in love, maybe not in business, and you know, if you work on the stock market or whatever, maybe not the best idea, but in love and emotion, now is the best time because you are running deep and you are running hot. Okay, you're like really, you've got a lot going on, and it might be too much for this person, so you really, really need to just let them do what they need to do, and their actions or their lack of actions will be your answer. Okay, more look at their actions, not their words. Okay, I think that'll be more beneficial for you in the long run. Okay, so Libra, I wish you nothing but the best this month. Thank you so much. Good luck, and I'll see you in a couple weeks with your generals. Bye.